Denver taxpayers wrote the second largest check in city history to the family of Michael Marshall, paying out a $4.6 million settlement after Marshall died while in jail custody. And now, less than a week later, the Denver sheriff's deputies seen in this video taking down Marshall are back at work, their jobs reinstated. Denver 7's Jennifer Kovaleski joins us here in the studio. Jen, this has happened before.
It's happened several times, and there's a group called the Career Service Board, which oversees discipline for the Denver Sheriff's Department. And as we said, this isn't the first time they've overturned a suspension or a firing. The city is now hoping a recently adopted rule change will help put an end to the practice. The narratives and videos are all too similar, with matching discipline letters, citing the same reason for termination or suspension: inappropriate force. But Denver 7 has found the mayor-appointed group called Denver's Career Service Board has long been criticized for undermining efforts to reform the troubled department. The most recent case involves Denver deputies Brett Garignani and Carlos Hernandez. Both were suspended for this excessive force captured on video that ultimately led to the death of inmate Michael Marshall.
When we have a system where people are given 12-day suspensions, 10-day suspensions, 16-day suspensions after killing someone, something is still wrong.
Marshall's family already criticized the suspension, calling them too light. But less than a week after the city agreed to pay them a $4.6 million settlement, a Denver hearing officer overturned both deputies' suspensions, writing in this 11-page discipline letter that there was no rule violation. Then there's this inappropriate force also caught on video. The city fired Denver deputy William Jackson over it, only to have the board overturn his firing and change it to a 6-day suspension. A similar story with Deputy Thomas Ford. He lost his job over this punch on an inmate. But 14 months later, you guessed it, the board reversed his firing and agreed to pay him an entire year in back pay and benefits. Now, last month, the Career Service Board adopted a new policy that puts the burden of proof during the appeals process on the deputies instead of the Sheriff's Department, a change the city hopes will prevent more of these cases from being overturned. I'm Jennifer Kovaleski for Denver 7.
And we certainly will be watching. Thank you, Jen.